thousands took to the streets across the country to protest at rising hunger and the cost of living. Elected last year to lead Africa's most populous country, Mr. Tinubu has introduced several economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidies, which have contributed to high inflation, currently over 30%. President Tinubu said the reforms were necessary to cut government spending and stimulate long-term growth. In January, the Nigerian president announced a 60% reduction in the size of official travel delegation, including his own entourage. However, last Monday, the president departed for France using a newly acquired Airbus A330, which has become the latest addition to the presidential fleet of more than 5 aircrafts. Interesting. So, is it that these aircrafts are no longer fit for purpose, or he uses all of them depending on the location that he's traveling to? So, if he has to go to Asia, there's an aircraft for for Asia. There's an aircraft for Europe if he has to go to Europe, or the Americas if he has to go to America. Interesting, but I think the problem is the fact that you ask us to tighten, and we've seen that here over the last few years. We've seen that play out in Ghana, in Ghana too, where you ask us to tighten our belts only for you to have yours loose. Your belt is loose, but you're asking us to tighten ours. So the economy in Nigeria is in shambles. Inflation is hovering at 30%. Ours went to 50, by the way. Theirs is hovering around 30%. You'd want to believe or assume that, they'll cut costs on a few things, only for the president to go and acquire a brand new airplane. Interesting. African leaders, they never cease to amaze us. Let me start with you, Prof.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting one. And just to take up from where you left off, I don't think they are even losing their belt. Their belt can no longer fit. They are beltless. They've taken off the belt. It's unfortunate. When I heard the story and looked at what is happening in Nigeria, several things don't make sense. And sometimes power can corrupt the thinking faculties of an individual. If you look at Tinubu when he was campaigning and his call for economic reforms, his campaign against excessive government expenditure, and then you are elected, and a year after that, you tighten the belt of the citizenry, take off fuel subsidies, and I can tell you that alone contributed significantly to the inflation going up to 30%. When you took off the fuel subsidies, it meant a lot. Now, your people are struggling, they were on the streets, and this is where I thought that perhaps you don't know what happens when people become maybe power drunk. I mean, even if you had bought this aircraft in advance, common sense would tell you that don't even let it come into the country yet, or don't even start to use it. Just 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks after the country youth were on the streets. And if you go into it, this Airbus A330 is 15 years old, and he's bought it to replace another one that is 19 years old. Really? 4 years difference. Does that make sense? And the critical thing is that this has an elaborate configuration that has a lot of VIP stuff ensuite. So
does it come with a bathroom?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So it's similar thinking there. When I was reading this story, I was saying that our president in Ghana must be very grateful to the Ghanaian people. And the Ghanaian, we all must be grateful to our youth. The average Ghanaian is very resilient, are able to endure. See what was happening on the streets of Nigeria with inflation of 30%. Where was our inflation in Ghana here? We hit 50 plus. The hardship that the Nigerians took to the street, perhaps we had worse of it, but we endured it, hoping that very soon we'll have an opportunity to make a change. But unfortunately, what you see is that they continue to spite things in your face. I can't understand why. you will do this. And on the back of this aircraft was only able to fly also because of a goodwill gesture. And that's the other background story that I have picked up. Because due to some litigation issues between one of the states of Nigeria, I think the Ogun state in particular, and a Chinese company, they won an arbitration and had confiscated the presidential fleet, some of them, and some other state assets, because the state could not fulfill its part of some contractual agreement with this Chinese company called Zhongshan Fushen Industrial Investment Company Limited. So they seized this, even including this aircraft, and it was released on goodwill gesture. How a state contract with a private entity can lead to a seizure of a federal property, that I cannot understand. We'll leave that to the lawyers. But this is a fact, that this, including other aircraft, were seized. So you are having all these issues. Your states are in debt with companies that they cannot pay. Yet you have money to go and buy this aircraft at this time. What luxury do you need at this age? And so it's very difficult, very, very, very difficult. It's unfortunate that he would take this decision, and I can understand the outrage. And I'm sure if this had come out earlier, maybe the noise on the streets would not have, it would have been worse, and would not have ended anytime soon. And it looks like they fail to listen to the Gen Zs, because this is what happened in Kenya, this is what happened in Nigeria, and in just within 2 weeks you go on to do this. So I think it's a lesson to all of us, and for the people of Ghana, I think it's an opportunity to see the type of leadership we have, and make a good decision. So I'll dovetail that into what is happening in Ghana. You've had a government that is promising you that they will do a lean government, yet the government is over 85 ministers. In fact, started at 125, that's the only way they could bring things down, and we've never seen it. So if that person comes to tell you that they are going to give you 60 ministers, would you believe it? At the time, we were struggling. They were flying in hired presidential jets that they could bath in the air, so that when they take a 6-hour trip, they can take a shower. As if when they land, there's no holding place in the hotel that they could take a shower. But this is what was happening to us as a country. And we have endured all of this. I am particularly grateful to the youth of Ghana, to the young people in Ghana, that we have painfully endured this hardship. Thankfully, in less than 108 or 9 days, we have an opportunity and to protest. And our protest will not be on the streets. Our protest will be with our thumb. And I think that is a uniqueness between us and our neighbors. So every young person should look at this type of leaders and go and vote them out. Because if the president could hire a jet, maybe the vice president will come and buy one. Just as we are seeing in Nigeria. Because the same thing, the same family. And what has happened in Nigeria is unfortunate. They shouldn't do things like this. And you know, whatever happens in Nigeria has a rippling effect here. There are thousands of Nigerians here. There are a lot of Ghanaians in Nigeria. And so when that place is destabilized, in fact, when Nigeria rocks, in fact, when it sneezes, the rest of Africa will catch a cold. Because the economy of Nigeria, the size of that country, population-wise, and its impact on the rest of the continent is significant. So we are worried that they will do something like this. And I condemn it. I don't think that any government should do that. You don't ask people to tighten their belt, bring untold hardships on the people. And at the back of this is that their parliament went to approve a supplementary budget that increased their budget from 20-something million or billion naira to over 35 billion naira. Why? Was it to make room so that they can buy this aircraft, or what? Or what? So I am very, very, very disappointed, to say the least. And I think that our government should bear with us, feel our pain, and let us see it. And if anybody comes to you and tells you that when I come, I'll reduce ministers to 50, when they are working with ministers of 85 and we are not seeing top, please think carefully. If anybody comes and tell you we are doing austerity measures, just as he said, I'm cutting travel and tourist size by 60%, and then go and buy a bigger aircraft, new aircraft. What is happening here? Here, they said they were reducing, in Ghana, they were reducing the number of first-class travels, foreign travels to essential ones. We never saw what became of it. People are still traveling in first class. We fly with them, we see them all the time. And sometimes you enter the aircraft, the way it's arranged, you pass by the first class, you see them, you salute your friends, you say hello to them, and you go to the zone. You go to the zone and relax there. We all arrive at the same time. So I think they should please bear with us and feel our pain. I think that's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Professor Titus Bay, NDC's parliamentary candidate for the Lambosea constituency. Let me turn my attention now to Mr. Ebo Bachman of the Movement for Change. Mr. Ebo.
Yeah, bless. As for Nigeria, you know, Nigeria is our big brother in Africa here. So all of us look up to Nigeria. Their economy is so big. All the big churches in Africa are in Nigeria. All the big banks are in Nigeria. I mean, almost everything big is in Nigeria. So when things are happening in Nigeria, you tend to wonder if they have a unique way of doing things which is different from the rest of Africa. Because Nigeria is not a country that is supposed to be going through the kind of economic situation it finds itself. Because it's a so blessed a country, let's be honest, and they have what it takes to compete out there with the rest of the world in terms of human resource, in terms of economy, and all that. But some way, somehow, there seems to be a peculiar problem with Nigerians, politicians, and the way they manage the country. It's so ironic that a country which is so rich is struggling in poverty most of the times. For those who are for the purchase of the aircraft, the argument, which for me are not tenable, is that one, they bought this below market price, and that this one will ensure efficiency, and that it will lead to, if you like, cost savings in terms of fuel and maintenance. You can have all these arguments, but the point is that, what about the issue of timing? At the time that your people are going through a lot because of economic decisions and policies that you've put forward, you decided as a government to go on this tangent. We don't have, all of us would have to, as Prof said, all of us will have to tighten our belt. Yet, this decision that you just took by buying the plane has nothing to do with tightening of belt. I mean, it's just the opposite of it. And so you realize that the government is not being sensitive. One other thing that has come up is that they didn't even follow the due process, the usual budgetary process of purchasing such things. So they bypass the normal way of doing things, because certainly if they had followed, probably some people would have kicked against it. So the whole contract is not positioned in transparency. And the fact that due to your own decisions of removing subsidies and all that, cost of living in Nigeria has also gone up. So in the midst of all this, if you can be that insensitive to buy plane, when you have more, if you have about 4 there or 5 there already, then certainly this is issue of government being insensitive to the plight of the people. But for me, it's a lesson. Tinubu broke the 8 in Nigeria. He broke the 8 in Nigeria. And so, you know, they've been in power, so they've gone beyond 8, and they're entering their 12. And that sense of ownership is what is killing our politicians. You see, I've always had problem with the system we are having, this winner-takes-all system. When they get the power, they begin to think that everything is for them. Everything is for them. So what they want is what they will do, not what the masses want. And that has been the bane of our development in Africa and particularly in Ghana. And so one political party feels I've captured power, I have 4 years or 8 years. What do? Let me do it in such a way that I'll be able to solidify my position as a political party. I'll be able to, loot enough. That will be able to help me to stay in opposition, because I know Ghana, after 8 years, I'll be going to opposition. That has been the norm, and that is why we need to break that norm. And I kindly ask Prof that because of his knowledge, his intelligence, everything, he will serve in Mr. Alan Chamantin's government. That one, I would even make the appointment before Mr. Alan Chamantin decide whether to accept or not to accept, because you are too good. But unfortunately, the system you are practicing is such that, you see, the problem you have, it is not that we don't have what it takes to develop as a nation. It's because we have everything, yet we are operating the wrong system. That is it. That is it. The winner takes all system, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So the Nigeria example, that is why we don't have to first. You see, first thing the Ghanaian need to do, the Ghanaian voter need to do, is to reject MPP. That's the first thing. Before you decide between Mr. Alan Chaman and Mr. Mama, which one to vote for. The first thing. No. You need to. No, that should be the first thing.
I mean, the protest votes.
Yeah, there's no need for Ghanaian to think twice before voting MPP out. Then the next thing is compare Mr. Mahama and Mr. Alan Chaman on the basis of competence, character, credibility, vision, and all that, and decide which one we would want to lead this country. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abu Bakman. I already have some messages coming in. This one here says, ideally, Bawumia is supposed to be overseeing our economy and its financial outlets, and also spearheading the implementation of government economic policies. Unfortunately, Alhaji Bawumia has become the bold problem that Ghanaians are looking for bold solutions to solve. Things are very costly to the extent that even a kilo of I love you, which used to be okay, I love you too, is now my gas has finished. Prekese Kwame Aristocrat, Kaswa Old Barrier. Interesting one. Right. Let's proceed. Good morning. My name is Shakib from Kumasi. My advice to the youth of this country is to vote MPP out of power, else Ghana will collapse totally. Thank you so much for your message. This one here says, good morning, Pan-African TV. Please, all this is for their own good, not the interest of Ghanaians. President Nana Addo and Bawumia, KTM lied to the entire youth that they will support us to start our businesses after you start training. Hey, this you start, this initiative that they said they had earmarked some 10 billion cedis. I remember you start. Hey, well, interesting. Well. This one here says, good morning, Bless. I'm watching you inside Hamile. My name is Ambe Frank from Hamile Morteng. Is that correct? Morteng, yeah. In the Lambusi constituency. Please, my regards to our incoming member of parliament come December 7th. The hope of the people, our blessing and savior, the game changer, the developmental agent for our beloved constituency, Professor Titus Bayo. The people of Hamile Zone are assuring him resounding over 90% votes. Long live Ghana, long live the great NDC, and long live Lambusi. Thank you so much for your message. A reminder once again that we are live on Facebook. Make sure you do what to join us. But let's move away from Nigeria and come back to Ghana. There are lots of issues of our own. We'll start our Ghanaian conversation with what has transpired on the Public Accounts Committee. Remember that the Minister for Youth and Sports was on the committee when he was asked questions in relation to the All African Games, the one that ended, I think it ended on 29th March. It started around 4th, 5th March and ended around 29th. It was an 18-day event. So you just do your calculations and then deduct. Now, there are interesting revelations that have come out of this, especially when the sports minister told pact that monies in excess of $3 million has been or was paid to the state broadcaster Ghana Broadcasting Corporation to broadcast the event. The GBC, the Director General of GBC came out to say that no, it was 105,000 cedis that were paid. Later on, the Youth and Sports Ministry came out with a press statement trying to tell us which money went where. At the end of the day, even with what they gave us, it was $2.5 million and not in excess of $3 million. They said they paid $1 million or so to another party. It's a bit murky, but that is not even the conversation. We are also hearing that some $15 million was used to feed the athletes. Very, very interesting. And I am no Archimedes when it comes to mathematics, but I was able to make my own subtraction, division, and multiplication with regards to exactly how much was spent on each athlete for the 18-day period.
Okay.
Yes, I did my own tabulation. So, if first of all, we'd have to convert the money from dollar
to cedi.
Yes.
It will become
We first have to convert the $15 million to cedis. When you do that conversion, let's say with an exchange rate of $1 to 15 cedis, you have 225.
It's 16 now.
No, but let's say then. Yes.
Okay.
Let's say then. So we have 225 million Ghana cedis for 18 days. And upon my checks, some 5,000 athletes participated. I don't know if it is more. I'm not sure. No, it can't be more. It is not more.
It became less.
It actually became less.
It's less.
It's less. But let's just deal with the 5,000.
I'm following your calculation because I have my own.
And you have your own too. So you divide 225 million Ghana cedi by 5,000. That's how you would arrive at the money that was expended on each athlete.
Yeah.
When you do that calculation, you have 45,000 cedis per athlete. If let's say 5,000 athletes participated, you have 45,000 Ghana cedis that was used for each athlete for a period of 18 days. Now, let us go further to check how much per day how much was used. When you do that division, you have 2,500 Ghana cedis per day. Now let's even go further. Let's look at the breakfast, lunch, and supper. It means that you have to divide 2,500 cedis by 3. You have 833 Ghana cedis for breakfast, 833 Ghana cedis for lunch, and 833 Ghana cedis for supper or dinner. So that is the amount of money that was spent on each athlete for breakfast, lunch, supper for just 18 days. 15 million United States dollars. Now it appears that the scandals are like God's faithfulness. They are new every morning.
Fresh every day.
And you see, we also,
New every morning.
you know, we also have to take note of the fact that not all the athletes stayed the entire 18-day period.
Yeah.
I know South Africa, for instance, pulled out of some of the events.
Yeah.
Because it was close. Like they felt that the All African Games was close to the Olympics,
Yeah.
and of course they placed more value on the Olympics. They wouldn't want to come and participate here and then get hurt, and then they wouldn't be able to participate in the Olympics. And then also, once you are unable to qualify to the next stage of the competition, you are done. So you go. So most of the athletes did not stay there
To the end.
Yes, they did not stay to the end. So 2,500 cedis every single day. Even when you go to the plashiest restaurant around, how much would you spend on food?
Your estimates are very conservative. I was trying to pull out the figure. I just missed it now. The actual number of athletes that participated. The 5,000 was what was estimated to come.
Okay.
The actual number that took part was less.
Okay.
When we did a calculation this morning, it was about a little over $5,000
per athlete.
Per athlete for the 18 days period.
Wow.
So when you divide it, it comes down to about 200 and something dollars, about 100 and let me just do that right now. But when you take it to the cities, it came to 4,116 cities per day per athlete. This is how much. So you got like 2,000, which is a very conservative. 4,116.
That is if
the figure. You get the official report on the total number of athletes that participated was actually less than the 5,000.
I see.
And we didn't even I didn't take into account the number that left for not qualifying beyond
I think I can arrive at that figure.
Yes.
When I divide 225 million by 225 million
so
by 75,000 cities.
Yes.
Which so about 3,000 athletes.
Okay. So because that was the actual number that participated throughout. And so when you look at it, the official statistics that the games gave us was that they were expecting 13,000 participants in all. 5,000 of them were supposed to be athletes. That was the projected at the beginning, but this dropped down to just about 3,000. And 3,000 were supposed to be technical officials, 3,000 volunteers, and 2,000 guests. All right. And on the feeding alone, for what they have given us, per the conservative estimate, we are spending about 4,116,000 Ghana cedis per athlete per day. So how much are you feeding per breakfast? So this is what has happened. But you see, what this story tells me, and to buttress it, even before I make my substantive point, there was a report in the by TV3 and another news portal where hoteliers were protesting that they have not been paid all their money for feeding these athletes as of the 20th of July, that they have been paid only 20%. So this 15 million, and about 40 hoteliers went on this protest, and they were saying they were considering taking the LOC and the Ministry of Youth and Sports to court for not paying their money, that they had only received 20%. And this was as of July 20th. So between July 20th and the time they appeared at Public Accounts Committee, where all this information is coming out, if they have subsequently paid the other 80%, that's fine. But will it amount to 4,000 cedis per head for feeding? Accommodation, other things are not in, for feeding. So what this tells me is that I sometimes bleed for the country. I feel sad. And in the past 7.5 years, it's as though the psyche of everybody in government and anyone that has any opportunity to govern or to lead or to do anything, the first actual motive or intention is, how do I loot the state? You understand? So everything that is presented in how can I loot the states. So you bring a game that's supposed to bring us all happiness, fun, we come and see our athletes perform. At the back of it is, how do I loot the states? And nothing amazes me anymore. You were saying that the scandals are like the grace of God that is anew every morning. Nothing amazes me anymore, because even catastrophic events like COVID, people use it to milk the states. So if you can use illness that took precious lives to see how can I make money of it, what else can't you do? Is it sports that you won't do? If you can use healthcare where you yourself were at risk of dying and others were at risk, and how did they milk the state in COVID? They gave an insurance to health workers, paid huge premiums to the insurance company, and made sure that almost no one got any claims. All right? They made it so difficult, and they kept changing the terms of the claims. They say if you had a critical illness, and I know people who were admitted to the ICU and never got any claims paid. So, and premiums had already been paid. Was a way to milk. They say we'll give you free water, hot milk per day, and at the end of the day, it was another means of milking the state. They convinced all of us to believe that, look, we're all at risk, and I, as a medical doctor at the time, believed that yes, we're all at risk. We're looking at how can we protect the state, protect individual lives. I mean, I remember saying, look, get us the vaccines, but whatever means, get us the vaccines, and then let's sort out the rest. Whilst we are thinking about safety, public safety, people want to go beyond that and make money out of it. And this is what this All Africa Games is showing us. So, like everything that happens in Ghana, and that's why I stated here that if this government, NPP government, gives you this iPhone with one hand, they will take 10 of it with the left through different routes that you won't understand. So when they package something very nicely for you and give you a very logical explanation, ask what is the real motive behind this. Yeah. Because how is it possible that you spend 4,000 cedis to feed one person per day? Let's take our most expensive hotel, Kempinski. Is that how much food is costing? So you're taking even Gariso Kings, that may be given a very lovely name there. Will it cost 1,000 cedis plus for breakfast or lunch? And these athletes, some even protested where they were staying and the food that they were getting. People were struggling to. So why do we have a system where everyone wants to know this thing? I think that a full-scale inquiry must come up. But I want to commend the Honorable Member of Parliament and the ranking member on the Sports Committee, Kobina Woyomi, for bringing this up. Because some of these things go and we all don't hear it, but we are all supposed to hold the government in check. So the Parliamentary Oversight Committee of responsibility of him and his colleagues in Parliament is very commendable. It's taking some of those oversight responsibilities to bring out several scandals in this country that you can no longer even imagine. But for me, if someone can find a way of stealing the nation, pure theft, when it comes to your health care, then I don't know what else the person will not steal from. The ambulance is there. Ambulance scandal is there. You are prosecuting someone for 1.8 million euros, and you give $34 million to your family and friends to maintain ambulances. That amount which can buy all those ambulances again. Yet they do not have even, and the company that does this maintenance, before it's even incorporated, is given work to do. Where does that happen? Which part of the world? If not quickly create, loot, and share. For what is coming, I think this is just a tip of the iceberg. Because I'm told they spent over $240-something million on this whole project. We should audit it. And I am confident that because crime has no expiry date, if this is not audited, the next administration will audit it. And we will go painstakingly through it and recoup whatever we can recoup for the people of Ghana. And I wish I could hear from these hoteliers on these reports now. They protested in July. Today we are hearing that you receive $15 million. Put yourself together. Aggregate your bills and find out was that how much you received. It's very simple to find out. Because we are hearing discrepancies between even sports ministry and a state institution like GBC, where quantums of money are supposed to be paid for services rendered based on contracts. And you are seeing payments that do not appear to reflect what is in the contract. How much more feeding? It's unfortunate. So I think that I will support my brother's call that, look, when you listen to all of this each morning as a youth who is without job, as a youth who is unemployed at home, who has finished school, for someone who has graduated and has gone back to the father's farm, and there's drought, and you are not even sure of what is happening, it will infuriate you. You get angry. The middle class and those who can leave this country are leaving. But I will tell everybody, just exercise restraint. We have some few days left. The first decision is to queue up. And when you are queuing up, you are going to reject the NPP. It's a protest vote. So when you take your ballot, when we ballot for the positions on the ballot box and you know where the NPP is located, whether it's up or down, it is a place to block off from your ballot paper, so that you don't even want to see it. Don't even look there. Sometimes out of anger, you may want to just, because the uneducated may want to even punish them and go and thumbprint on their thing and then spoil their ballot. Just don't even look there. As your protest, because when we went on the streets to Bank of Ghana, they resisted us from going. They did everything to prevent us from going. When Fix the Country attempted to protest, we saw what they did in a democratic dispensation. So we have one opportunity, just one last opportunity. Let us speak out loudly in our voting pattern. It should be loud and clear that this is a rejected party, a rejected government that has failed in all its forms, in monumental proportions, and try to convince people with empty promises. Let us demonstrate this anger on the 7th of December. And when you finish, don't go home. Stay there. Watch the counting. Make sure that your ballot is protected. Ensure that it is properly declared, that that pink sheet is posted. The statement of poll is posted at that polling station, because that is a rule. It should be posted there for you to see. Take a picture of it, so that if anybody does any machination and they come and produce anything else on any platform, you can speak for your constituency. You can speak for your branch that I was there and I gave my protest vote. Myself and my family, we protested in our vote, and this is what we showed. I mean, honestly, bless. What is going to happen in this December speaks a lot. Sometimes I don't want to talk about it, but based on the election results, we will be telling future politicians who we are as a Ghanaian. If anybody should be rewarded after mismanaging our economy this way, after insulting us in the face, after trampling on our rights, appointing non-political elements to independent bodies like the Electoral Commission, if you should reward these people with a vote, I'm not just talking about they not winning, but it must be an outright rejection, that their scores, the votes they get, the percentage they get, should warn every future politician that you cannot take the Ghanaian for granted. But if they get even some handsome 30%, what it means is that, look, you can do anything to the Ghanaian, convince them in sweet talk, and go back to them and you get a vote. And it's a very bad precedent. And people are studying our politics. You will get a young person one day who will be president of Ghana, who will feel that he can create an ejapadie, take everything for his family, and still come back to you with a surrogate and still be voted for. Let us protest in our votes come 7th of December. That will be my submission on this.
Right. I'm doing some more messages before I come to Ebo Backman. Good morning, Mr. Host. Kindly tell Prof. Titus Bayo that I admire him so much. All right. Thank you for your message. Good morning, Bless. My advice to Ghanaians is to live above the scamming schemes of the NPP and Baumia, but vote for JDM. Without this, Ghana is doomed and we will suffer together. Jackson from Ho. Thank you, Jackson, for your message. This one here says that, good morning, Bless. We still remember the free water scam during COVID-19. Anthony Bawa Takrade Efie Kuma. Good morning to Efie Kuma. Thank you so much for doing the watching. Good morning, Bless, and your panelists. Personally, I support the chairman of the NDC for giving National Peace Council 6 conditions under which it will sign the peace pact before the general elections. From Amos in Asim Fusu. Thank you, Amos, and a hearty good morning to the Asim people. Good morning. Host election 2024 isn't a normal pose but a liberation struggle against oppressors' rule, enemies of states, the looting brigade, and the neo-colonial masters involved in capturing countless economic crimes against the states. Indeed, NPP has become a nuisance, liability, and a threat to peace. Forest reserves, water bodies, and our democracy. NPP is very desperate and hell-bent on rigging the 8 at all costs. NPP never again. Okay. A citizen, not a spectator. Thank you. Now let me come to you, Mr. Backman. on this development as far as the just ended African game is concerned?
Yes, Bless, before I make any contribution to the specific topic, I wrote this piece, a very short write-up, and I want to share with viewers. I said, it's worse than a nightmare. The thought of Bawumia and Napo managing the country with Nanado, Osafo-Maafo, Ken Ofori-Atta, Gabriel Chodakun, and Asante Bediacho pulling the strings behind the scenes, ensuring that their Ejepedia takeover project reaches its conclusion is truly frightening. Just imagine it, and you will feel the fear. Let's save our beloved nation. Let's love our nation more than a political party. Our beloved nation definitely deserves love and care from its true sons and daughters. Bless, where you've gotten to, let's be more Ghanaians and less politicians. Because what is happening and what we are seeing is just a fraction, infinitesimal fraction of what is really happening. Any serious country will immediately conduct special audits to ascertain whether the figures churning out by the Ministry of Sports are a true reflection of what really transpired in terms of the expenditure for the program. Bless, as you rightly put it, the scandals that are coming out are so frightening. And people should never be swayed, or it should never be lost on us, that whenever somebody steals money from the state coffers, be it $1 million, be it $2 million, that person is denying a community of potable water, of electricity, is denying the youth of employment. So whatever the politician does has direct consequences on the lives of the people. Therefore, it is the politician on one side, the rest of the people on the other side. And so when this one side of the equation is going up, this side of the equation is going down automatically. And so if you have a situation where about $3 million was spent on internet, $15 million, I'm not talking about CDs, on feeding, and all the figures that are coming out, you wonder the kind of country we are building. And what is even more disturbing is how some of the youth whose future is being destroyed will be fighting, defending some of these acts of thievery, looting. I always make reference to Honorable Kennedy Japan, and I'm highly disappointed in him. He told us that these people are looting Ghana as if there's no tomorrow. And when they loot, they send the money outside. Today, he wants Ghanaians to vote for looters again, because his friend, Napo, has been made a running mate. I mean, my God, bless. Sometimes I feel so sad as a Ghanaian. And look at what they are doing. You see, look at their modus operandi. Now, when they organize what they call rally or whatever, they play the popular songs for the youth to dance and forget the fact that they are even unemployed. I'm telling you. Because they have nothing to offer. They have no message. So they will play Kempaluta. Yes. And make you dance and dance and dance and you forget your plight. And that is check. That is what they are doing. That is basically their campaign strategy. Because they have nothing to show. Absolutely nothing to show. I mean, look at what has come in terms of revenue, in terms of borrowing, in terms of everything, and look at what has come out in terms of projects, in terms of development. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I expect that soon and very soon it will be difficult. I expect that it should be done. Special audit has to be conducted in this matter. I mean, we don't have to. The money doesn't belong to MPP. And I want to also use the opportunity, and I've been saying this, to talk to Ghanaians. It is not about NDC MPP. We don't vote for MPP when it comes to presidential elections. Let not make that mistake. We vote for a person, not a political party. Why do you think when MPP people wanted Kenofurata out, he was still there? It's because the president was the one who caused the shots, not the political party. Even the national chairman of MPP, it is recently that he got appointment from the president. Recently, NPA or something board, whatever. Recently, all this while he was a chairman, he was unemployed. Even national chairman. So why would you vote for somebody to become president because of political party? Why don't you vote for the person because of your own future? Because of the fact that the person has something to offer to make this country better, for you to have a better future in this country. That is what is important. As for the stealing, I am telling you, Bless, it is happening left, right, and center. Happening left, right, and center. Why do you think they always want to borrow? Look at what is happening in the cocoa sector. Because that is where they make their money. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. People enter into politics. Within 2, 3, 4 years, they are millionaires. They have mansions, they have cars, they've bought land, and nobody questions them. Nobody questions them. And yet, we want to develop as a nation. How can we develop as a nation on the back of all these heinous acts of corruption, thievery, daylight looting? People have investment in Guyana. Let me tell you, Guyana's economy is one of the fastest growing in, I think it's the number 1 or so in the world, because of their oil industry. Ghanaian politicians have investment in Guyana, in their oil industry. A family. That is why the economy is doing well. And the economy is sinking.
Oil companies are leaving our shores.
I mean,
you are investing in Guyana.
I mean, why should we allow this to happen? Why? I mean, Bless. And so, when they speak and they promise you freebies, ask yourself, when they promise you, I've given you free SHS, I'll give you free this, I'll give you free that, ask yourself, how much have they stolen? Because when they give you free, they've stolen 1,000 times of that. When they say they've given you free, their children are schooling and living in big-time houses they've acquired outside. So, the youth, I'm speaking to the youth. Please, be smart. I've said it. If you want the best for this country, the fair decision you take is that reject MPP. Reject them. And then make your decision as to who should lead the country. MPP shouldn't be part
of the conversation.
Right,
thank you very much. I'll do a few more messages. Prosper Gasu from the Volta region, Angola specifically says, where does Akufo-Addo and colleagues think they are going with the money? They will leave it and go to jail. Lord have mercy for Ghana. Thank you, Prosper, for the message. Good morning, Bless. And good morning to your panelists. In fact, NPP has made scandals a ritual routine in Ghana. Like Bless said, they are new every morning. If the whole President Nana-Addo replying to Ghanaian labor unions that the snake strike was unnecessary, then we should expect more scandals than the $15 million. NPP wrote on the good policies of NDC from 2017 to 2018. Then from there, their own policies started up to now. With Bawumia and Apo will be like Kukubo. The international donors and banks will never trust them and will not get any loan. From the Silent Rock inside Binduri. Thank you so much, and good morning to the people of Binduri. I was there 2 weeks ago. Beautiful place it is. Good morning, Bless. The government deserves a big applause. They really did very well for looting. They should prepare for the days of accountability. George from Sugakofe. Thank you, George, for your message. Good morning. Please do not forget what Godfred Damis said, that they can use money to buy the vote at Asin North, from Mr. Toro in Lashibi. Thank you, Mr. Toro, for your message. Good morning, Bless. The same market women who are crying of low sales, very expensive transportation and school items for their children are the same people rallying behind Baumia and Napo, who are all our Ghanaians. Who created them? I'm Kelvin Malcolm Sewonu from Adenta. Thank you, Kelvin, for your message. To some more, this one here says, bless. So then why democracy? Well, question for the gods. Alaji Hamza, good morning to you. I trust you are doing fine. This one here says, good morning, my brother, bless. I'm sad this morning and my heart bleeds for this country. Ghana today again has been slapped with $111 million judgment debt from the U.S. court due to the negligence of the AG and the former energy minister. Today we are being told the advice to cancel the contract came from the AG's office. AG is also on the other side, saying the fault is from the finance minister because he was supposed to pay the money which he refused to pay. You see what they are doing to this country. Can you imagine $111 million will have done to us in this country? This is what happens when the wicked rules. According to the UK and the US court, our case presented was so weak to stand the case of the day. Indeed, we need change to reset this country. We shall rescue this country. Wallahi. Thank you, Alhaji Hamza, for your message. Good morning, Pan-African TV. The NPP is the world's largest psychiatric problem we have. They should be minded. December 7 is just around the corner, and when our savior GM comes as our president, all Nanado's appointees, their legal wealth acquired will be subjected to accountability. Okay, thank you so much for your message. Good morning, Pan-African TV. With the amount of money claimed to have been used for feeding the athletes, I want to ask if each athlete was fed a full cow a day. Kofiga from Bato. Thank you, Kofiga, for your message. This one also says, Doctor, don't forget what happened in 2020. MPP was clearly rejected. The system is not fair. So even if we succeed in rejecting this corrupt government, the true reflection in terms of percentage will not be achieved. Let's just hope and pray that at least the MPP infested EC will declare NEC as winner with whatever percent. I wonder how many results they will be declaring this time around. Raymond Ambangna says, good morning, bless. I extend my warm regards to your panelists, especially Professor Titus Bayu, the incoming MP for the Lambusi constituency. The people of Lambusi are deeply grateful for his remarkable work in bringing our constituency into the spotlight. We eagerly await the December 7th election to endorse him at the polls. Raymond. Thank you, Raymond, for your message. Yusuf says, never in my mind thought that NDC had men like the professor in the studio today. What a brilliant submission. Okay, good submission, Prof. Bayu. John Mahama is winning this election. Mohammed in Techiman. Thank you, Mohammed. Sami Zameku says, good morning, blessed. Did I hear one of the Peace Council members of the asked the NEC to let bygones be bygones on the 2020 election killing in Techiman? Bless. You see the type of elders we have in Ghana, empty heads. If his son was part of the killing in Techiman and without justice, will you let it go on like that? Mr. Mosquito, we cherish you. Go high. Thank you so much. Nasir Mohammed. Good morning, bless, and the team. I'm an ardent watcher of Pan-African TV from Monday to Saturday. I wish you all the best. I'm pleading with Ghanaians to help vote out this most corrupt and wicked government. It's because of such corruption they are willing to use any means to hang on. This is a rescue mission. Nazir Mohammed, thank you so much for always keeping it locked on Pan-African Television. I do appreciate that. We, all of us at Pan-African Television, do appreciate you a lot. Mohammed says, good morning, bless. This sports minister is the worst sports minister in Ghana. Greetings to Professor Bayu. Mohammed in Techiman sent this one. And Aaron from Sukura says, good morning. Listening to you, I feel so sad to be a Ghanaian. Aaron, all of us do, sincerely. This one here also says that Vote Alan for a prosperous Ghana. Government of national unity is what we need to stop the winner takes all syndrome. Watching you from Westland, Accra, Akwesi. AB says, good morning. You are becoming the most honest program in Ghana. Please keep it up. Thank you so much. Amen to all in Pan Africa TV. You are giving me hope this morning. I'm living here in the UK, and this morning, this is the most honest program I've seen. Okay, thank you so much for your compliment, AB, who is doing the watching all the way from the United Kingdom. Let's proceed. Let's move away and go on to our next topic for conversation. The messages there are plenty. Plenty messages are, you know, right? A lot of a lot of messages are coming in. I'll get to read some more in the course of the show. But let's go on to discuss the conditions that have been spelled out by the National Democratic Congress in relation to the peace pacts. Very, very interesting. I'm going to be reading them out to our viewers. It says, Honorable Johnson Asedun Ketia, also known as General Mosquito, has presented the Peace Council with 6 conditions for the NDC to sign the Peace Pact. 1. Full implementation of the Ayawaso West Wuogon Commission's recommendation. 2. Prosecution of those responsible for the killings during the 2020 election. 3. Prosecution of individuals involved in the illegal printing of ballot papers. 4. Transparent, honest, and public addressing of the missing equipment at the EC's office, satisfactory to the general public. 5. A public declaration by the President to accept the will of the people in the 2024 general elections. And 6. Signatures from the President, Chief Justice, Attorney General, and IGP on the LGBTQ documents. All right, so these are the conditions that have been spelled out by the chairman of the National Democratic Congress.
No, I didn't get your last one. That is not part of what we presented.
Oh, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So the man himself is this.
Okay, so let's make do with what you have.
Official one.
Yes. Let's make do with that one.
The signatures bit, we are requesting that the peace pact must be signed by the political parties, the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, the Chief Justice, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, National Security Coordinator, the Peace Council, and the Electoral Commission.
Wow.
So it's not about the LGBT. No, this is the request.
Okay.
Because it is. Well, I don't know if I can make my submission on it, but since I
no, of course, you can proceed. You can proceed. I think what I have here that is true. I agree. The last one was included. Signatures from the President, Chief Justice, Attorney General, and IGP on the no. Why would the IGP
it's not about election. It's about
why would they sign the
ball is in your court.
Yes. So bless. A lot of things have happened in this country, and some of our state institutions have allowed themselves to be, I don't know the correct word to use, but let me choose my words very carefully. You know, there are state institutions that we all look up to hold us together when times get tough. And these are supposed to be apolitical institutions that, if you look at the setup of the Peace Council, it should be a council that is working throughout the time and not only when elections come up. I commend the Peace Council for some interventions. They are doing some intervention in my community now and a few things like that. But I think in respect of this election and their national actions anytime there is time for election, it's unfortunate. And just asking us to sign a peace pact, I would agree with our national chairman that it's a facade. What are we doing? We just go and sit down and sign a document. We have very serious questions for the Peace Council and other like-minded organizations interested in the peace of this country. It is not surprising that an ECOWAS group recently gave some submissions suggesting that they think that this election there's high risk of some violence erupting. Nobody wants that violence. But why are all these reports coming up? It's because someone starts something that is wrong and we all keep quiet about it. So let's take these points that have been raised and see the justification in them. So rather than just appealing, and I've heard them mention it in various forms, saying that, oh, the NDC has made a proposal, so they are going to sit and negotiate it and all of that. No, it's not a negotiation that we are doing. We are giving you conditions precedent for us to sign a peace pact, which will be meaningful. If we take the Ayawaso West Wagon Commission report, bless, what happened? Violence was perpetrated against Ghanaians. People were maimed. A member of parliament was assaulted in the full glare of everybody. Daylight. They had a public inquiry. We all listened. We all watched. They produced a report. And then what the president does is tear through that report, cancel all the ones that he doesn't want, and even the ones that they said they'll do something about, pay compensations. Nothing has been done. And as if to insult the Ghanaian, you reward the person who was one of the lead architects of what happened. Honorable Brian Echampo was mentioned severally in that report. What did the president do? Moving from a deputy ministerial position, or I think he was deputy in charge of national security? Yes.
Yes.
And make him a full minister, cabinet minister. That's his reward for what he has done. Not only that, this man is going across the country saying we will not hand over power. We will do anything to win power by whatever means possible. And Peace Council, you don't issue even one statement to call this man to order. And you come to be able to sign a peace pact. A peace pact with who? A president says that I will never hand over power to someone I have defeated. But that person who defeated you handed over power to you. And Peace Council, no one had what my friend Ethan Kuma will say, testicular fortitude. No one had the testicular fortitude to tell this man, the president, that Mr. President, you can't say that. Till date, the president has never made any public declaration of his willingness to hand over power. And you want us to sign a peace pact? Peace pact with who?
For what?
With who? With the same person or who? You have an election in which 8 Ghanaians died. The first time ever. That election-related violence resulting in deaths from Techiman South, Ablekuma Central, Banda constituencies. Not even an apology, not even a word of condolence to these people who were only safeguarding our democracy, these martyrs of our democracy. Not a single word, as if they did not matter. As much as we are all for peace, I'm wondering if the leadership of the Peace Council, or anybody for that matter, who is asking anybody to sign a peace pact or saying let bygones be bygones, if your son was killed in that, would you say let bygones be bygones? Definitely. Would the family ever bring closure? In medical terms, we have, when you are dealing with traumatizing situation, grieving situation, and you want to bring closure, so there are some few psychological things that you can do to bring closure. Some people will leave this pain as long as there is no closure to the deaths. In other words, if at least someone is even prosecuted or someone is found guilty, even if the person just came to say sorry, and you see that in the States, before the person is even sentenced, he is brought face to face with the victims of the crime. If he kills someone, the family is there. At least apologize or say something. That can help the people bring closure to their loss. That at least someone has owned up for this dastardly act. But no, as if these people are non-Ghanaians. And you say we should sign a peace pact? For how many more people to be killed? You have a situation where this illegal printing matter, I'm not sure a lot of people have understood what has happened. Our national chairman mentioned it briefly. What happens when we are printing electoral materials is that all parties have their agents there. You supervise the printing. When it is all done, you sign off. These things were packed, all of that, and dispatched. Sign off, and the printing press is supposed to be closed, and everybody leaves. It happens that some days afterwards, one of our agents left his laptop bag or something, and goes back to see if he could find it, and gets there and realizes that they are printing millions. All right? Then you ask questions and they are bringing flimsy excuses that they are printing in case of a runoff. If there is going to be a runoff, won't we come together again for you to print? And in a runoff, it's not only 2 candidates that are supposed to be on the ballot box. Yeah. So what can you print in case of any runoff? These are acts committed by the EC. And then, once they were caught in the full glare of the police, they supervised the burning of those ballots. Who knows how many have left?
Yes.
What auditing took place? We have no clue. And you say we should sign a peace pact. You go to an IT system, EC. You tell us some stuff are missing. The reporting sequence is problematic. The full detail is problematic. You give the serial numbers. You see, how you communicate in crisis matters. When you are in crisis, your communication matters. First, you must, and I don't know why we are not learning from this. In any part of the world, developed economies, developed democracies, if there is a crisis or a situation, there's a full briefing in the public glare. State the facts as they are. Recognize shortcomings. Apologize where you need to apologize. And then inspire confidence and hope in the people. That is not what is happening in our country. When we're in crisis in COVID period, the president will make his fellow Ghanaians speak confidently to try and inspire confidence. The facts of the matter and where you need to accept blame, that never happens. And this is what is happening in this case. If the EC had outlined things on their own, we cannot find this and this and that. Not you wait for someone to bring it up before you say that, yes, show us the serial numbers you don't want to show us. And you say a peace pact. Who knows what they are using it for? Then, why are we asking all these other people to sign the peace pact? If you listen to the list, it is carefully selected. They are asking political parties to come and sign. As if we are the only stakeholders in this election. No. But the maintenance of peace before, during, and after the election, several people are involved, and that is why we are asking that apart from the head of the election security is the IGP, isn't it? Why shouldn't he be a signatory to this peace pact? The Chief Justice, they will adjudicate should there be any electoral issues. Why can they not be part of this? The Attorney General is responsible for state prosecutions. The National Security Coordinator that are carrying out overt and covert operations, they should be part. The Peace Council themselves and the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is an important arbiter in this. You don't come and announce 3 different results to us, toiling with people's life, and expect us to sit down and say we have signed a peace pact. So, and all your acts, your speeches from the president, his ministers, point to the fact that they are not willing to hand over power. But we have a simple word for His Excellency the President this morning. He wasn't born with this power. Whether Japadia is true or false, yes, your father may have been a president. We respect him for that. You yourself have been given the mandate by the people of Ghana to serve. We respect you for that. But remember, that is not an inheritance. You don't own Ghana. You don't own the presidency. You have no business saying that the sovereign power of the people entrusted to you, you will not hand it over to a person that they have decided should take over from you. You don't determine who takes over from you. You don't appoint your successor. No, that's not what we do in this country. We go through a democratic process to select a person. So, Mr. President, do the needful thing. As you counted on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to do the needful when the verdict was given to you, do the needful thing. If you want, Mahama made it clear that not under his watch would Ghana go into flames. And he did that before the election. This is a person we bastardized with this smear campaigning on. We painted him with all sorts of brushes. Thankfully, posterity has judged him favorably, and he's been exonerated of all of that. But this man said the peace of Ghana was more important to him than anything else. If people were even giving contrary advice, people were scared he may not hand over all of that, but he graciously handed over, even though we're not satisfied with what happened, because he loved the peace of Ghana. And you dare say that you will not hand over? Mr. President, please, if anybody has even made it go into your conscience that this power is an inheritance, and therefore you determine who to pass it over to, that is not the case. So we are speaking to you on behalf of the people of Ghana. come out, make that public declaration that whoever wins this election, you are going to hand over. And it doesn't matter whether it's His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, whether it's Alan, whether it's Cheddar, whether in the most unlikely event he becomes your vice president, you must hand over power. And we must hear that from you as a #1 employee of this country. Thank you.
Very well said, Professor Titus Bayo. What are the plans of the Movement for Change in relation to the Peace Pact? Are they going to sign it? Are they going to draw lessons from what transpired in the Northeast region in the Superdelegate Conference, where one of Alan Chemantin's agents was brutalized to the very extent that he nearly lost one of his eyes? Ebo.
Yeah, Blaise, I think you answered the question with your question. And Blaise, let me start off by saying that the future of this country is more important than the future of any political party. We need to save this country. If you are to sacrifice political party or the country on the altar of peace, it should be a political party that has to be sacrificed, and not the country for the benefit of any political party. But the truth is that we are dealing with a group of people, very dangerous group of people, who have hijacked a political party and who intend to hijack the country. Let me tell you, we have fine gentlemen and women in MPP. But those who are controlling the party now are very dangerous people. Very, very dangerous people. And so we have to be careful when we are dealing with them. And we have to face them. Whatever that has to be done to ensure that this election will be free and fair would have to be done. Because knowing that they don't have anything to show Ghanaians, their last resort is to throw in anything and everything to win the election. Rigging, maiming people, brutalizing people. They've planned evil. And that is something they intend doing. Unfortunately, they can't even hide it. They say it. So, to be foretold is to be forewarned, isn't it? And so, they are telling us that we should be very careful in the way we've been handling things in the country. We have to make sure that our security agencies, the military and the police, do the needful to protect this country. They shouldn't allow any political party, like the ruling government, to control them, manipulate them, to do things to favor them at the expense of the country. For me, that should not be the case. Let me give you a revelation that came up. And I said, we are dealing with a very dangerous group of people. Remember when they had their manifesto launch in Takrady? Napo came up with a revelation in respect of how they planned against Mr. Alan Chemantin. He said way back 2011, at 2 a.m., check the time, 2 a.m., that is when evil plans are hatched. Then the candidate, or then the aspirant, now the president, Ronaldo, invited him and told him who he wants to succeed him if he becomes president and he finishes his term. So a plan was hatched way back in 2011.
A decade ago.
To get Mr. Alan Chemantin out of the way. And they were successful in doing that. So I'm telling you, we are dealing with a group of people who will stop at nothing to get what they want, be it fair or foul means. And so I go with the NDC position and Mr. Nchamantin has not put forward official position. But given what happened to us during the superdelegates in the party, certainly we know them. In fact, we know them better than NDC people know them. And so we, personally, I think what NDC has done, what the conditions they put forward are sound conditions. And until these conditions are met, there shouldn't be any signing of peace pact. Let me tell you, with or without peace pact, what has to be done? The military and the police, if the two together act as Ghanaians, if they begin to behave and think as Ghanaians who love their country, this election will be done in a free and fair manner. Because police and the military are those who control elections. If there's going to be peace, if there's going to be chaos or mayhem in this country, the police and the military will have a very key role to play. I expect that there will be more Ghanaians than politicians, even if they have political affiliations, and protect this country. And let's rescue this country from these vampires. It is not the whole MPP that is a problem. It's a fraction of element in the party who have wicked intentions, who are in this business. They see the whole thing as business to enrich themselves and their families. And that is why they wouldn't want to even hand over power should they lose. And the police and the military, once again, please, let's love this country more than these political parties. Let's protect this country. Let's keep this country in peace and in whole. Let's not destroy this country on the altar of satisfying any political party. And for me, that would be my take.
Right, thank you very much. Let me do a few more messages. Good morning and greetings to my senior brother, Titus Bayo. This is Prosper in Tamale. In fact, Nana should be the first person to sign this peace pact because he doesn't act as an agent of peace. Someone who commands chiefs to stand up and greet him doesn't present peace, but a sign of dictatorship and arrogance. Thank you for a message, Mr. Bless. It seems to me that Akufo-Addo has hypnotized Ghana Bar Association, Christian Council, and other civil society organizations, so they do not see anything wrong with all the crimes being committed by NPP. From Mr. Toro in Lashibi. Thank you, Mr. Toro, for your message. Al-Hassan Hamdan from Nyohini South says the signing of a peace pact going to 2024 election is meaningless when the fundamental issues undermining free and fair elections remain unaddressed. I fully support the NDC's decision not to participate in signing what I consider a useless agreement. The very security setup that should ensure violence-free elections has been compromised by NPP elements, while the Peace Council remains silent. If the Ayawaso West Wogon report is implemented and its recommendations fully enforced, then the NDC will consider its stance. Until then, it's all just empty gestures. Right, these are some of your messages. There's still a lot more, but we have limited time. Kwame Osudanso has just joined us. Kwame, good morning.
Good morning, Bless.
You are looking sharp.
Thank you.
Great. So we've been talking. we've been discussing some of the conditions that the National Democratic Congress have spelled out to the Peace Council if they need or if they have to assent to a peace pact going into the 2024 election. Some of these conditions is that they'd want a full implementation of the findings into the Ayawaso West Wogon by election, as well as some other issues that have come up, especially in relation to the 2020 general elections, where some 8 persons died as a result of the actions and inactions of certain people. Kildi.
All right, thank you very much. Let me say a special good morning to our viewers, a special good morning to you, to Prof, and to my brother. It's been a while.
Bro, it's been a while.
Indeed. I have only been assisting Movement for Change by interviewing Honorable Alan Kojo Chematin. I will be very candid and fair, and to say that Honorable Alan Kojo Chematin, okay, I'll be very candid. The NDC's manifesto is not out, but in terms of what is out so far, it is the best. I was the first to criticize it because I had not really read it.
I remember.
Yes, I was the first to criticize it, and I eat back my words, okay, and I will admit here and now that it is the best policy I have ever seen, particularly because I've had the opportunity of sitting with him and to get a better explanation of the specifics in relation to the clusters therein. So I will be the first to admit that, and kudos to him. I want to believe that all the political parties, whether NDC, MPP, whatever it is, insofar as we are all in this enterprise of bringing about peace, unity, and giving people confidence and hope, if you find that there's something in his manifesto that will benefit Ghana, you should have a conversation and see how you can bring that into your manifesto as well. Ultimately, whoever becomes the president must have the interests of the people at heart. And so if Alan Kojo Chematin has designed something that will benefit the people of Ghana, you should have conversations around that. His youth policy, absolutely phenomenal. His policy on macroeconomy, first of all, identifying what the problems are, and then proffering solutions, practical solutions to the problems, and his policy on industrialization and all that. Brilliant. Also, let me say a big congratulations to Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. I think that for the first time, we have seen that her campaign is yielding some positive results for the NDC. Oftentimes, people have asked the question, what is she bringing to the table? What is she doing? Where is she? So there was that confusion and lack of understanding as to exactly what it is that she's doing. But I must admit that this current campaign team are doing a very good job. And so I don't know whether it is the strategy of the NDC. And indeed, if it is a strategy of the NDC, then I must admit it's a brilliant one. The fact that she actually consistently, have resigned herself to visiting constituencies that traditionally are seen as MPP constituencies, especially the marketplaces. So if you followed her campaign, you realize that she's actually mostly in MPP strongholds. For me, if it is the strategy, look, I don't know if it is a strategy, but if it is the strategy that Mahama is appealing to the base of the NDC to give them that confidence again, that apathy that set in from 2016 to 2020 will be addressed by Mahama. And then Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman is also appealing to the MPP and the neutrals to vote for the NDC. If that is a strategy the NDC is employing, it's a brilliant strategy, and it is working. So kudos to Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. It's beautiful. And I think Amma Pratt has put together some campaign diaries. Because oftentimes people see them from afar, they don't really know them. Now, the campaign diaries gives you an opportunity, a close-up opportunity to get into her life, and understand who she is and how she goes about her business, when she's campaigning, and the people that she meets, and the people that she fraternizes with, the market women. And I saw a video, I'm sure it's yet to be played, but I had the opportunity of seeing the video where she visited one of the markets, and then there were two people fighting, two of these market queens fighting, and she went and brought them, she stopped her campaign, went and brought them together and resolved the matter before she left. Oh, that's a matter, and that's brilliant. I'm not here to do any campaign for NDC, but that is brilliant, and I like that. All right, now to the subject matter. You see, peace is predicated on principles. Okay, peace is predicated on intentional activities of persons who are active players in the exercise of political duty for the purposes of bringing about stability and peace. So peace in itself is not an instrument that can by itself lead to some stability or create its own peace. I don't know if you understand. So peace is not an enabler. It cannot enable itself unless some people is an outcome of deliberate, intentional activities that will bring about the peace. Okay? I have consistently said, and bless you would bear testimony to the fact that I have consistently said, both on Pan-African television and so many other platforms when I get the opportunity, to say that the peace and the democracy that we are enjoying is not by reason of some deliberate activities by political players and actors. It is because the Ghanaian people have decided that we want to enjoy our peace. For whatever it is, we like our peace like that. And that is why the Ghanaian people have been very silent and have been very supportive of all political parties. It is not because the political parties are by themselves, acting in ways which has obviously created that, that peaceful, serene lake of tranquility that we are enjoying as a nation. So it is not by any specific design of any political party, okay? It is the people. We have decided that we will never go back to the dark days, okay, where at the mention of the military, people had to run and to hide, and the barracks was a source of tyranny and confusion. Okay, people do not want to go back to those days again. Okay, and that is why, by design, we decided to birth the 1992 Constitution. The 1992 Constitution is the bedrock or the foundation upon which the political architecture of Ghana is built. And so, if you read the 1992 Constitution, it is very deliberate and intentional about specific things which will continue to promote peace and unity and to bring about tolerance in our political enterprise. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the promulgation of the 1992 Constitution was just to reinforce that belief that we needed to have peace and tranquility. We needed to have peace and tranquility. And so it fortifies, that belief that Ghanaians held and gave a lot of confidence to the Ghanaian people. And that's why there's a system of multi-party democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. All of these things, were put together in order that we will have an enjoyable democratic system, okay? Now, what it also means is that people have responsibilities to ensure that the peace and the democracy that we are enjoying continues to remain. Okay, and they owe that duty to the Ghanaian people. Now, so that is why we say that we conduct elections every 4 years, so that there will be some peaceful transition, okay, of political power from one party to the other. In the event that there is that change, in the event that the people's thumb have spoken, that this particular political party has served its tenure, has been able to deliver on its mandate, and we have had enough. So the next political party should come and take over. And that is what has happened from 1992. That's been the trajectory from 1992 till today. Okay? Now, if you look at the political tension, when President J.J. Rawlings of blessed memory, okay, was about exiting, and he was ushering into the political arena Professor J.E.A. Mills. And what characterized that election? It was a very tensious election, if you recall, that people were even scared that former President J.J. Rawlings, in the event that NDC lost, was not going to hand over power. And I do recall all the things that Mr. Pratt, together with some retired military men, the role they had to play in bringing about that stable environment for the purposes of what? Of transition. They played a key role. Okay? Even J.J. Rawlings, whose political fortunes was built on the pedestal of military coup d'etat, handed over. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it was because we needed to sustain the peace and enjoy the tranquil that we began enjoying or experiencing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, moving from there, when President John Agyekum Kufuor took over, he served his 8 years. Professor Mills had to wait. Yeah. After 8 years, Ghanaians said, "Oh, MPP, you have done something. You to go. Let NDC come back to power." Okay? And then there was that smooth transition. Obviously, President Kufuor would have wished to hand over to an MPP administration to continue with the projects that he had started. But the will of the Ghanaian people did not support the belief that he had in wanting to hand over power to an NPP government. The Ghanaian people, the will of the people was to the effect that you have served your term, leave, exit. Let us hand over the power to another political party, which fortunately or unfortunately was the NDC at the time, to take over. And that is what happened. President Mills served his term, unfortunately was taking ill, and then unfortunately had to die. And then President Mahama continued, all right, and then served his 4-year term and was booted out in 2016 peacefully. Of course, this was a president who was at the time very young, relatively young. It was his first term, 4 years. He had never tasted the 8-year syndrome. So he felt pained. But if the people are saying that we don't want you, what can you do? Can you hold on to power? You have to go. Yeah. So even though he only enjoyed 4 years, he had to give away that power to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to come and govern. Now, we are experiencing some new phenomenon which upsets me and which angers me. The phenomenon of the fact that this particular group of MPP people, and oftentimes, if you have listened to my analysis, I always refer to this MPP as this particular group of MPP people who have consistently, without contradiction, opined that they are not going to hand over power, even if because they are not going to hand over power to the NDC. So what it means is that you are not going to hand over power even if you lose. Yeah. Who are you? No, to be honest, who are you? When President Akufo-Addo finishes his term, he's a nobody. He becomes a former president. He's a nobody. He becomes a citizen. Of course, he would enjoy some largesse, but apart from that, who is he? He's a nobody.
It's just a privilege that
it's a privilege that the Ghanaian people gave you, because all of us cannot be presidents. So we decided to give you that opportunity to come and serve us. So who are you to say that you are not going to hand over power in the event that you lose that power? The people gave you that power. The people say, I'm taking back my power. You can only have that power when the people give it to you. And that is why you recall that recently he was going around saying that many honor 2 many war. And you Ghana for 2 many ukra. So you are holding that power and using it, yes, for and on behalf of the good people of Ghana. So when the good people of Ghana take that power from you, you are a nobody. It's like a policeman who is not in uniform. You are a civilian. It's like a military man who is not in his camouflage. When we meet face to face, you are a nobody. That's it. So the fact that you are wearing the uniform, paid for with the taxpayers' money, okay? In that moment, I will not argue with you because I have given you that authority. So I will let you exercise that authority. So I will not argue with you. A police officer, when the police officer stops me, I will not argue with you if you are in uniform, because I respect that office. But when you take that uniform out, which represents the authority, when you take, and then you want to come and now bulldoze your way and bully me, I will not have that. That is what is happening. Now, what is Peace Council? When we say Peace Council, what is Peace Council? And permit me, for the purpose of education, to read what the Peace Council is and their functions. The National Peace Council, first of all, is established by law, specifically the National Peace Council Act of 2011, Act 818, which outlines the NPC's functions, powers, and responsibilities, including 1, promoting peace and cohesion; 2, resolving conflicts and disputes; 3, monitoring and observing elections; 4, establishing dispute resolution mechanisms; 5, educating the public on peace building and conflict resolution; 6, collaborating with stakeholders; 7, providing early warning systems; 8, facilitating reconciliation and healing; okay? 9, advising government on peace-related policies; 10, conducting research and documentation. The law also established the NPC's structure, including the governing board, secretariat, and regional offices. Additionally, it outlines the NPC's funding and financial management framework. Let me start from the funding. It means they are paid to do their work. Okay? Now, if you come back to the functions, and as I have explained, they are supposed to promote national peace and cohesion. It was established in 2011, correct?
Yes.
After that, what peace and cohesion have they promoted? What peace and cohesion can we confidently say that the Peace Council has promoted? Conflict resolution and mediation. What conflict have they resolved? Particularly when there have been subsequent elections, which elections have been characterized by brutalism. People have been brutalized, killed, maimed, and there have been concerns raised, serious concerns raised, demonstrations organized. I do recall that I was part of the people who attended the Agbewo demonstration, which was organized by some very good, citizens of this country. Okay, to wedge that increasing political intolerance, which has characterized our political activities. I was part of it. Just to, to highlight and demonstrate, bless, that politics is not about it's not a do or die affair. Politics is about, selling your message to the people, and the people responding to the message that you are sending or you are giving to them, either in the negative or in the positive. It doesn't mean that because you think that you wield some power which has been given to you by the people, you can use the state architecture to bulldoze your way through the system and steal that power from the people. And the reason why people go about killing people is because they steal the mandate from the people. The people do not give them the mandate out of their own free will. It's like when an armed robber comes to your house, bless, the armed robber will only use his weapon when you are trying to defend yourself. When you are trying to defend yourself, you say that I suffered to buy this TV. You want to come and just take the TV away. I'll fight for my TV. Then the armed robber will shoot you and kill you. But you died not in vain. You died in protection of what you believe in and what you hold dear, which is democracy. So, Peace Council, what have they done in respect of conflict resolution and mediation? See, I don't know unless if you want to tell me, you can tell me. There was an Ayawaso committee that was set up for the purposes of investigating all the things that happened during the Ayawaso West Wagon by-elections. What became of the report, the white paper that was issued? What became of it? When all these people were mentioned, in fact, there was a gentleman who is now in the national security who was mentioned as one of the people who was deeply involved in the atrocities which were meted out to the people at the Ayawaso West Wagon. What happened to the gentleman? That police officer, what was his name, Amuzu or something like that. What happened to him? What happened to him?
Even the deputy minister.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Now he's been promoted. Now he's a cabinet minister. And all these people.
And he's talking.
And he's still talking. And he's the one, all these people were involved.
Brimstone.
Now, I know you are pressed for time, but because it is important, it's important an exercise. We have to now spell out the functions of Peace Council. Okay? So, collaboration with stakeholders. Look, there have been times, and I won't go through all of them because of time. There have been times where the NDC has raised very valid concerns about the conduct of this particular group of MPP people in power and the Electoral Commission. They have raised serious concerns about it. Indeed, bless. If one of your functions is to promote peace and cohesion, when NDC raised concerns about the missing BVDs and BVRs, what was the response of Peace Council? Did you hear from them?
Never.
Did they ever talk? No. Did they ever come out to speak about that situation? So now Peace Council is saying that it is what? It is an appendage of government, that they only speak when it is in the interest of the ruling party. Is that what they are saying? Look, I am in full support, albeit that I love peace, but I'm in full support of the NDC for saying that they are not going to sign any peace pact. In any event, what has the peace pact done for anybody? The peace pact that we signed, what has it done for anybody? It is only glorifying this silly attitude of stealing from the people Okay, when the people have decided to vote against you. So you are we glorify foolishness in the political space by signing a peace pact. That is the only purpose of the peace pact. So that when you are when they steal from you, you are okay. Oh, no matter what it is, me, I'm okay. Oh, it's like they are beating you and you have your hands behind your back. Nobody must be subjugated by reason of a pact. Okay, into accepting a result that does not present the full verdict of the people. Yeah. Nobody. Right. And yes, I think that in view of this, the NDC has given what they believe should be the reasons for signing any pact. Yeah. If indeed we want the NDC to sign any pact, or in fact, Movement for Change to sign any pact, why am I even limiting it to NDC? Yeah, everybody. I mean, PNC to sign any pact, all the other political parties to sign any pact. Then indeed, we must ensure that we do what? We fulfill the conditions which have been outlined by Asidi Ketia. Which conditions finds expression in in what all the political parties do believe in. All the political parties, they believe that we must go through these outlines, ensure that we address all of them, and then we come back to the drawing table. In fact, for the president to make an open declaration that he is going to promote the acceptance of the verdict if they lose the elections. I think that Asidi Ketia couldn't have said it any better. And for me, I support it. And I want all Ghanaians to support it. And I want all Ghanaians to demonstrate that strong will to promote, to protect what they actually vote for. It's important. No time for cowardice. No time for, we need to protect. Okay, and I'm confident that, and I think that I've said this countless number of times. I'm saying that I'm going to support the MPP again if this group leaves. Then I'll come back and support the MPP if they restructure it well. But for now, I don't support this MPP. And I'm saying that I do know, okay, that the NDC or the Movement for Change or any other political party should be the alternative. But this particular group of MPP people, they don't deserve another term because they will collapse the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. So,
I just wanted to. He said it all, and I just want to make a small submission that.
Prof.
Yes, rather than us signing a public peace pact, every Ghanaian should sign a peace pact on your own, with your body, with your soul, with your spirit, with your conscience. Yeah. And I'm calling on the security services, the Election Security Management Force, and every single Ghanaian that from the 1st to the 7th of December, every day recite the national anthem and take the words therein. Let's sing songs like Yenara Assassini and take the words therein. On the 7th of December, every single citizen of Ghana, before you leave your house, recite the pledge. We have a country to fight for. We have a country to save. And that peace is with our conscience. You should not sacrifice the will of the people on the altar of peace. Right. We will come and accept peace. But peace comes with justice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me just say a quick good morning to a brother who's watching us this morning. His name is Michael. He works at Honeysuckle in East Legon, ANC Mall. He's watching us this morning.
It looks like you are just getting your lunch.
Let me also have my last thing. You see, I said earlier on that all these, the struggles, the conflict, this division is as a result of the system. I believe that Mr. Alan Chamate represents a certain class of, in terms of personality, very peaceful. In terms of what he professes, a government of national unity inclusive. In terms of a plan against manifesto superior. If we believe that, if you believe that, but I don't want to believe that at the end of the day I'll be seeing copies of the things we have in your manifesto. So I'm saying that the NDC MPP struggle, the MPP NDC political football is getting too much.
Right.
And as a nation, we need to begin to think beyond them.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good morning to Uncle Social, who is in Golokwati and doing the watching. I was in Golokwati last week, the Afajatu South constituency. To Mr. Stephen Kweng, who is a devout Pan-African TV viewer. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And to all our viewers across the length and breadth of the continent. Thank you, Kwame Osudanso, Ebo Bakman, and Professor Titus Bayo for your time this morning. And to our cherished viewers, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.